Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got why the Houston Texans are Super Bowl contenders. Hey, bro, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they are, you know what I'm saying? That they've done a good job of putting pieces around CJ Stroud to make him even better than he was his rookie year. You know what I'm saying? But hey, let's go ahead and check this out.
I think the Texans are going to win their division. I think they're in the top of the conference.
You look at what CJ Stroud did without Stephon, imagine what he's going to do with him. Yes, the whole city.
But the only thing about Stephon Diggs, he's got to control his anger and not be a diva all the fucking time, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he's got to be better in the second part of the season, because last year he was good in like the first several games, but like in the later half, back half of the year, bro, he was just getting locked down left and right.
They can't wait for it.
First team ever, as we've mentioned.
Let's see what this video talking about though.
Season, 8,000-yard rusher, 8,000-yard receiver, and a guy who had 10 or more sacks. First time that's ever happened.
They're loaded at wide receiver, at tight end, at running back. I mean, that team is built to.
And I didn't even talk about them. I forgot they drafted Cade Stover too, who played with CJ Stroud at Ohio State.
That's right.
So this is going to be a very interesting offense, bro. And we gotta play them this year too. Fuck. Oh my gosh.
It's time to say something that not many people have been saying. The Houston Texans Super Bowl window is officially open and isn't closing anytime soon. Like, I mean, frustrations at a meaningless win in 2022 to lose them the #1 pick are now a distant memory, because the arrival of CJ Stroud just
I feel like
has transformed
they couldn't have gone wrong either way, because either way Bryce Young or CJ Stroud would have definitely performed well in this you know what I'm saying, in this situation. Of course, Bryce Young on the Panthers not in the best situation, but you know what I'm saying, anybody would perform well in this type of situation that CJ Stroud is in right now. Plus of how talented he is.
In today's video, we're going to talk about how all these new acquisitions and now how the Houston Texans now stand as a legitimate threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC and a Super Bowl contender. Now look, as a Houston Texans fan, it's fair to say you got to be feeling pretty good about your team right now.
Oh hell no, bro. Nah, come on now. Grown-ass man twerking on live TV is crazy.
The media is full of praise for your superstar sophomore quarterback. Your head coach is a badass who only knows how to deliver success, and your front office knows how to get the job done and acquire talent to get into this win now mode that they are in.
You couple that quarterback with the guys you just talked about, also a very good free agency and a good base meat and potatoes of the team already. Yeah, damn. I mean, the Texans definitely got very, very high expectations from everybody now, and especially with that guy at quarterback.
This is a very different looking Houston Texans franchise to what we are used to. And I mean, you can't help but be excited for the Texans. Nailing the draft is the best way to set your team up for success, and having a long list of high profile hits that have arrived over the last few years have elevated both sides of the ball significantly. And their arrivals from the draft and free agency reflect an organization that believes they are ready to compete and possibly challenge the Kansas City Chiefs as kings of the AFC. And of course, the only reason the Texans are in the position to treat themselves to players like Danielle Hunter and Stephon Diggs over
because the quarterback is on a rookie
front office has done such a good
scale contract
job
as
of
well,
bolstering their roster with young talent in the draft. And as I've said before,
and they're definitely going to be like a contender for the next like 4 seasons or so before CJ Stroud gets paid, because the rookie scale contract and shit like that. So they can definitely, you know what I'm saying, even they can get more dangerous than they are right now, which is the scary part about that, bro.
Detroit Lions rebuild.
It's gonna be crazy.
GM and the coaching staff and the whole organization are just on the same page. It leads to success. And by welcoming in CJ Stroud and Will Anderson in 2020,
Will Anderson is just only going to get more dangerous, bro. Especially with Danielle Hunter on the other side, probably going to get more double teams and shit like that, bro. You can't double team both of them. But I think that it's going to open up the window for Will Anderson to be more dominant in his second year. I could see him racking up like around like 12, 13 sacks this year.
Both Stroud and Anderson went on to win the Rookie of the Year awards for their respective positions, setting up both sides of the ball for success for many years to come. Like, look, even before that incredible draft class in 2023, players like Derek Stingley Jr., Nico Collins, Jalen Petrie, and Christian Harris have all come in and made a difference. It has been a franchise-altering couple of years for the Houston Texans. And it's crazy to say this, but they've locked up some of the most important positions on the field in like quarterback, edge rusher,
wide
even
receiver,
cornerback too, with all rookie contracts. Like just some of the names and positions like quarterback with CJ Stroud, edge defender with Will Anderson, cornerback with Derek Stingley, and wide receiver with Collins and Tank Dell have all of those guys on rookie contracts.
Damn.
And I mean, with all of those players contributing at a high level on bargain deals, the Texans find themselves in the envious position of having cash to burn. And I mean, it's fair to say they have certainly spared no expenses on their shopping spree.
Yeah, watch out for Houston. I like those moves.
They got
Shair
Danielle Hunter on a 2-year
and
deal
Danielle
too.
Hunter changed the Houston Texans defense.
I don't know how the Vikings let him walk, bro.
It's pretty
But
good
the Vikings
whoa,
did a
watch
pretty
out.
decent
That
job
might be
of
one of the
kind of
better
replacing
defenses
him
in all
with Dallas
football.
Turner and
Danielle
Jonathan
Hunter
Bernard, who was on the
biggest
Texans
splash
last
for the
year.
team, providing
So-
D'Amico Ryans with a very exciting skill set to utilize on the opposite end of the defensive line to Will Anderson.
D'Amico Ryans, that 49er scheme where there's not going to be a lot of thinking he's got to worry about. That's where we see this scheme unleash players in a lot of ways because they don't make their defense ends read a whole lot. They just go, there's the quarterback, go to him. Don't worry, we'll get some sick, awesome athletic linebackers behind you, and they'll figure out, if you go that way or that way to go as far as going to the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes special. The Houston Texans quietly are having an incredible start to the offseason and the free agency.
Hunter arrives in Houston fresh off of a career-high 16 and a half sacks in
sacks.
Minnesota, where he spent 8 seasons and racked up 87 and a half sacks. The dude
Damn.
should be a very impactful player.
What if he,
for
bro?
the
What if he
Texans,
cracks that
while also
100
providing the
sack
reigning
margin this
defensive
year,
rookie of
bro?
the year with
That
the
could very
mentor.
well happen.
Danico Autry also brings a veteran presence to the
Oh, they got
defensive
Danico
line,
Autry
with
too?
Alshire
Danico Autry's
rounding up a
solid.
very tidy defensive haul. The former San Francisco 49ers
He's
middle
Alshire as
linebacker
well,
was
who's
a
pretty decent
favorite of the
linebacker.
head coach D'Amico Ryans during his time in San Francisco, and immediately slots in as a very versatile hard hitter in the center of that defense. And I mean, on
Damn.
the offensive side of the ball, we all know who they've been able to acquire by adding
Diggs and
Stephon
Mixon.
Diggs to the embarrassment of riches that they have at that
Re-signing
wide
Dalton
receiver position.
Schultz, they drafted Case Stover.
With the Tank Dell, someone
You know
can
what
get
I'm
the ball
saying?
into his
And
hands.
Brevin
and go make
Jordan's
something
pretty solid
happen.
as
You
well.
have this route
I'm saying with
runner
his speed and
extraordinaire with
shit.
the Stephon Diggs that you could get in
But
those
how they gonna
one-on-one
get all these
matchups.
guys
You
in
have
the
a Nico
field though?
Collins
Is
that
gonna
is a
be the
big-bodied
question.
guy
Like
that can work
that's
with some contested stuff.
great
CJ
problem to
Stroud,
have
obviously
when you
one of
got to
the best
figure out how to
young
get your
quarterbacks,
playmakers
certainly
on the
quarterbacks in
field
NFL.
at the
So they
same
have all these
time,
different
bro.
pieces of guys that could play roles, let alone a Dalton Schultz, let alone their draft pick of Cade Stover. So everyone has got a role that they kind of excel in, and that's perfect for this Bobby Slowick offense.
Like, it just completely bolsters a unit that already included Tank Dell and Nico Collins. CJ Stroud helped both of those players break out in their first and third years respectively, with Nico Collins almost tripling his previous best and posting a very healthy 1,297 yards and 8 touchdowns.
He could have
He's a
had
very
more
rare
if
combination of
CJ
size
didn't
and
get
athleticism,
injured.
who is a legitimate rival to Diggs for the alpha
You know
role.
what I'm saying?
Add Dell into the equation as
I think,
well, and this passing attack
what, Stroud
will be
missed like
one of
1 or
the
2
hardest
games
to
last
defend
year.
in the NFL. The Texans didn't
Tank
stop
Dell
there,
could have
though,
cracked
also
over
bringing in a
1,000 if he
veteran
didn't get hurt.
presence at the running back position in the form of Joe Mixon.
You have Joe Mixon, you have Damian Pierce, 2 guys that can run the ball, not play action. You got those talented receivers out there. I like the Houston Texans and what they've done thus far.
Mixon surpassed the 1,000-yard mark in 4 of his last 6 seasons, while also posing a threat out of the backfield. He is
Yeah,
yet
I'm
another
glad to see him
playmaker
leave
for defensive
Cincinnati, bro.
coordinators to worry about, rounding out an off-season spending spree that has absolutely transformed the Houston Texans. And as we all know, the biggest factor and biggest contributor of this big turnaround has been CJ Stroud with that number 2 overall selection in last year's draft. And look, we're really never going to know if the Texans were going to pick Stroud from the get-go, since they never really got the chance to take that number 1 overall pick, thanks to Lovie Smith. But even if there was a little bit of luck in getting Stroud to land in Houston, it's certified and safe to say that he is by far one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, if not a top 5 quarterback at that. Like, the dude
see that.
single-handedly shut down the validity.
We know the
of
top 3
any
is
of those
definitely
tests
Lamar,
that they
Patrick
give
Mahomes, Joe
quarterbacks
Burrow.
by the
Then you could
outrageous
possibly
numbers he put up
I'm saying
last
CJ Stroud
year,
at,
and by putting together a
at 4 in
record-breaking
that.
rookie
And
season.
then
I think it's
who else?
huge.
Who else would you
Look,
put?
they
Like
got
Josh
the 2
Allen?
most
Probably
important
a 5th.
decisions you can make for a franchise is who's going to be your head coach and who's going to be your quarterback. The face of the franchise has changed entirely, and those 2 guys are going to be doing it for the next 10, 15 years together. But by the way, this rookie, Sam, in my opinion, is playing as well as any quarterback in the National Football League. This is incredible what this kid's doing. And he's doing it without his best receiver.
Doubters of Stroud were made to look sillier and sillier as the dude just turned out outrageous performance after outrageous performance. Highlighted by a 470-yard, 5-touchdown performance against Tampa Bay in Week 9.
5 tutties
Incredible statistical output, not only
on your
setting
rookie
a new
year, bro.
all-time
Like, that's
single-game
crazy.
record for passing yards by a rookie,
And the fact that he
but
threw for
also
almost
featured an
500
ice-cold
yards
game-winning
too.
drive that proved he
Like,
was
that's
the
more
real
than
deal.
some
And we all
starting
remember
quarterbacks
this
in the
quote
league
before he
right
got
now.
drafted too, right?
Like, that's crazy.
I play football for me, but at the end of the day, man, I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, so I'm not gonna sit here and explain how I process football. The people who make these picks know what I can do, so that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, well, I think he proved his point by delivering in that game and proving that he could be equated to like a 10-year vet with that one game. And although CJ enjoyed having a record-breaking season unlike anything we had ever seen out of a rookie quarterback, it was even smarter for the Texans to begin to build out this roster for him and for them to just be successful in the long run. And one quick thing before we start, I wanted to celebrate the recent success of the channel. And we'll either get a session as well as giveaways during the kickoff. They have not only put themselves in a position to win now and challenge for the Super Bowl, but they've also ensured that their quarterback gets the best possible situation to continue to develop in. Like, as I said before, you gotta feel good if you're a Texans fan right now. Like, most quarterbacks end up in that second year taking a little bit of a step back just because they have more film on them, things like that, and even just defenses being better. But I don't know if that's gonna happen with Stroud after you give him more weapons. But that also begs another question though, which is you don't win AFC championships and Super Bowls on paper, because if that was the case, then you could crown the Texans right now. But that's what I think is the craziest part, is even though they look great on paper, I think they're going to perform just as well as they did last year, if not better, because of those weapons they acquired. Like, when you're looking at the offseason moves alone, there are not many teams that have progressed further than the Texans. Like, look at the AFC alone. They have been able to pinch one of the #1 wide receivers from the Bills and the starting running back from the Bengals. Like, in strengthening their own offense, they've weakened two of their biggest rivals for the AFC title, which is always a bonus. But that leaves the one remaining team that stands out that everybody knows is going for the three-peat, the Kansas City Chiefs. The last time that we did get to see these two teams play was in 2022, in which the Chiefs edged out in overtime.
I don't know why he put, I was trying to let this go. I don't know why he put the Texans in front of us, because we blew them out twice last year. So
a bonus.
I understand they got better,
but
bro, we did too.
Everybody knows is
by adding Derrick Henry, a much needed piece to that offense,
see
bro.
these two teams play was in 2022, in which the Chiefs edged out an overtime
bro, we
victory
blew them out
against
twice,
a very
so I don't know
different
why
looking
he put
Texans
them at
side.
2 and I
Davis
said 3.
Mills was the starting quarterback, Royce Freeman lined up alongside him at the running back position, and Chris Moore led the wide receiver group. On top of that too, D'Amico Ryans was nowhere in the building too. So I mean, we can't really read into the outcome of that game as a projection for what might happen in 2024. But the lousy lineup of players tells you all you need to know about how far the Texans have come over the last couple of seasons. I truly do believe that this Texans team right now is primed to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I expect them to be a real challenger in the AFC, and these are my reasons why. Simply put, you need a game changer at quarterback if you're going to down Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs, and CJ Stroud has already proved himself as that. Over the years, we have seen countless talented quarterbacks fall short in the playoffs and earn a reputation for not being able to get a team across the line. Stroud banished those concerns by scorching the Browns for 274 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 16 completions in his first ever playoff game. He absolutely thrived on the big stage and dissected one of the league's best defenses in embarrassing fashion. It was a resounding way to announce yourself on the playoff stage, and he did so without his second best receiver in Tank Dell. The Texans were already punching well above their weight by now, so it was no surprise when a superior Ravens team swept them aside in the divisional round. But with this loss, it was an invaluable experience for that young Houston roster, and the talent added in 2024 will go a long way to help them get across the line when the next opportunity arises. The turnaround has been spectacular, and it is not far-fetched to say that they will enter the season as the second best team in the conference and Kansas City's primary
contender. Putting the Bengals in front of us is crazy, bro. Like come on now. Let's be for real. Burrow's only beat Lamar once. Come on now. That's no. And plus we swept them last year. Like I just don't see the Bengals beating us with Lamar at QB. I just don't. I hope Lamar Jackson. We sweep the Bengals every year.
An invaluable experience for the players. Head coach D'Amico Ryans will also have benefited a lot from the experience. All he did was succeed in San Francisco, and he has brought that good fortune with him to Houston. Like, I honestly don't know how he didn't win Coach of the Year award last year. Ryans knows exactly what it takes to succeed in the NFL. He was the Defensive Rookie of the Year with the Texans in 2006 and would go on to win 2 Pro Bowl nominations and a first-team All-Pro selection in 2007 at linebacker. As defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, Ryan's unit gave up the 5th fewest points in the NFL in his first year, before improving to give up the fewest points in his second. During that impressive campaign, the 49ers gave up just 17.2 points per game, which is 1.4 points better than the next best. He has had a similar impact in Houston, improving them from 27th in the NFL on a points conceded per game basis in 2022 to 11th best in 2023. Having now had a year to work with his team and bolster the ranks through trades and free agency, we can surely expect another impressive leap from the Houston Texans defense under Ryans. All in all though, it is a Houston Texans team that, as I believe and as I said before, is primed and ready to contend right now. Like, it's not often that we see a team completely rebuild in 2 seasons, but that's exactly what the Houston Texans have done here. And if you haven't seen my rebuild video on how they've done it, go take a look at that on the channel, because it's been because of those draft picks and being able to hit on just the positions that they've drafted and get a discount at premier positions. But it's all been because of how that they've drafted in order to get to this spot. Like, when you've secured primary positions with cheap ass contracts, then it's going to translate in order to get great players like Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs to support your jackpot of all picks, CJ Stroud. And as I just
said, isn't Diggs in the last year of his deal
treat
too?
Themselves to high quality veterans who will come in
or
and
does he
instantly
have
improve both sides of the ball. And
2
leading
years
the way
left?
is a head coach who understands life in the NFL and has a proven track record of success in his very young career. It's the perfect combination of talent, youth, and experience, making the Houston Texans a very dangerous opponent in the AFC and a legitimate contender for a Super Bowl. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section below. How good are the Texans going to be? Personally, for me, I'm going to give a little bit of a hot take here, but I think that they're going to be great. I think they're going to be awesome, but I think they're only going to get to like 11 wins. Their schedule looks pretty tough right now, and although the AFC South isn't crazy good, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And as I said before, even though they do have more film on Stroud, I think he still is going to take a great step forward, but it's going to be a little bit tougher for him just as the season goes on. But who knows? I'm just excited to see what happens this year. But as always, let me know in the comment section below, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.
Hey man, what do you guys think, bro? Y'all think the Texans are Super Bowl contenders? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notification and notified whenever I drop another banger video. We're on the road to 200 subs. Help me get that for more banger NFL content like this. So without further ado, I'm out. Gang!